Okay, so phase 2 for Inception Alarm Access Control. Let's start from the start. So main page, we work through our scope of works. Our scope of works is finalized, ready for us to now build the project. We come into our cost center list. I've done some housekeeping when we push it over from GroundPlan to SimPro. These are all separate. I've brought them up into one cost center. I've renamed using this name, and I've also added in the labor fit off and commissioning and labor rough in cost centers. Given it a save, they've all got their their respective numbers now. So it's time to jump in and complete phase 2. You can see the parts here from the takeoff in GroundPlan. So we come into our parts and labor tab. Billable is where all of our items from the takeoff sit, and it's where all of our parts and equipment will sit as well once they're added. We have a few options across the top. Takeoff is our takeoff templates. Pre-builds is pre-builds if we've built them, and catalog is single items, stock being anything we're holding in stock, and one-off items when we need to create them. For phase 2, we're working through creating takeoff templates for anything you need. If you identify something that's missing, please let us know so that we can have them built and added in here. As this is inner range Inception Alarm Access Control, we come to the Access Control Alarm, Integrity Inception, Inception Head End, which includes the main controller, door controller, zone expanders, and lift control. So I want one of those. That's my first item. I don't need anything else out of here. So that will give me alarm, security panel. It'll give me door controllers and any additions that I might need for lifts, that kind of thing. So you can see out here, I've got my Inception controller. There's a 2-door, that's a PCB, an enclosure, a battery, door controller kits. So these are the standard door controller kits. LAN expander modules, so any zone expanders, and also auxiliary relay kits for lift control. So this site, being that it is it's 4 systems, so we're going to need 4 Inception controllers. The Inception controllers include 4 doors on board. They also include 8 zones. So we can either choose to use the 4 doors that are on board, or we can choose to use the 8 zones that are on board. It just means that for every single one of our lots, if we've got a security panel and 2 4-door controllers, 4 of those doors can come off the Inception panel. Another 4 will come off a 4-door controller kit, and then we'll have an 8-zone expander to use for the PIRs. So in this instance, that's exactly what we're going to do. There's also, it looks like there's a 2-door controller kit over here. So this one's a little bit hard because we've got some differences across the drawings. That's okay. This one's got 4 doors on the ground floor. I don't believe this is for a door, guys. I believe it's potentially for a garage door. We better read note 8. Oh, I'm wrong. So my apologies. Happy to admit when I'm wrong. Okay. So we're going to use the quantities and assume that they're correct. So we've got 4 panels. There they are, 4 Inception panels. That includes 4 doors on there. So we wouldn't need 8 4-door controllers then. We would just need 4 4-door controllers. So here's our 4-door SLAM kits down here. For this, we would need 1 of these because there's only 1 2-door kit. There's that. And then we will still need 4 medium enclosures, 4 batteries. These are also available, not to confuse things, but if you come into the catalog and search for Inception, you'll also get anything else that's relative to Inception. The Inception kits come in these kits where there's an Inception controller and then some options, so a small enclosure, battery, and a keypad. There's a few different options here. So I could choose any one of those, but we've selected it this way, so we've got a bit more flexibility. So we can now get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Remove those items. So we have our inception kits, inception controllers. We have a 1 2-door kit. We have 4 medium enclosures, 4 batteries, and that's for these items. 8 zone expanders, 4. So 4. So that's the last of those. Remove that one. And no longer require those. Now, each of these has a card reader inside the lift, which means we also need a door. We also need auxiliary relay LAN kit. So this is controlling the lift floors. So we'll need 4 of those because there's 4 lifts. The 16 would be if we had anything above 8 floors, but up to 8 floors with lift control, we use an 8 auxiliary relay LAN kit. So 1 relay per lift floor. So the way that we do the next section, so that's the head end. That's what we would consider the head end. So we've got our controllers, our door controllers, expanders, and relay kits. So that's our head end for our access control system complete. Give it a save every now and again just to make sure we don't lose anything. 29 electric strikes. We're not going to go with, we're going to go with monitored strikes. No, we'll go with non-monitored strikes because of we've got the read switches. So we're going to do it this way. So we're going to take off. We've got HID Signo, I believe, is the reader we're using. So we're going to have HID readers. We've got iClass. And here's our electric strike. So LOX electric strike and read switch. So 29 is going to give us 29 strikes. It's going to give us 29 card readers. It's also going to give us 29 read switches. So very, very quick way to achieve those items. So as you can see down here, 29 Signo card readers, 29 electric strikes, 29 read switches, and the associated cable for those items as well. So I can get rid of those. I'm leaving the extra read switch on. I know that there's an extra read switch. I'm leaving it on there. Exit buttons. We've got 8, so very similar. So access control alarm, REX buttons, emergency brake glass units. Here's our REX button, 8 of those. We now have 8 exit buttons. We'll put up there. And the cable has increased for those exit buttons. So this is calculating based on 50 meters of cable per item. So we can get rid of the 8 exit buttons. Lift interface is 4. So once again, access control alarm, interface, no lift. So that's a great example. I'm going to pause for a second and create a lift interface. All right, so I just quickly created a lift interface. So very, very quick to create. So if you don't have them, please just yell out. So we now have 4 lift interfaces. You can see that that's dropped in here. What I do is I actually drag all of our items that are, I leave my rough in or my cable down the bottom, always just a housekeeping item. It just keeps everything neat and tidy. Back into takeoff, so FIP interface, there's 4, 1 for each lot. And the FIP interfaces, we actually do 1 per door controller. And so in this instance, you've got 4, 5. Don't actually need that. I'm glad we're running over it. We've got our 4 and 4, so separate. So we'll have these in separate enclosures. So we'll need 8 FIP interfaces. And what it does is it gives us an allowance of $50 for the relays that we use to create the interface with the fire system to unlock the doors. So once I've got that, I can remove it. Okay, keypad. So into access control alarm, integrity inception is part of this. We might move this to make it, but here it is, elite keypad. So we've got 8 keypads. So 8. See, that's down here, and there's the cable that's associated, so they use a different cable for the keypads. Remove. PIRs is 8. Once again, into here, down to PIRs and detectors. We use Paradox, DG75. It includes a ceiling mount bracket. We don't have to allow for anything like that. 8 of those. And double check. There they are. And the cable's increased. Remove those. Okay, so now we've gone through and we've actually included all the items that were on the takeoff. You can see down here that the labor is calculating based on what's in the takeoff templates. We just do some quick housekeeping. So we just drag all of our items up that are equipment that we need as part of the project. FIP can come up there as well. And our cable is down the bottom. The takeoff template quickly. So we go back to takeoff templates. The last item we add is project delivery, one of. And then we now have all of our items included in the project based on the takeoff template. So this is what I would consider the end of phase 2, when all of the items are available in the takeoff template and the scope of works is complete and has all the information available. It's as you saw then, it's a very, very fast, simple process to be able to put all this together and have a really good outcome really, really quickly. And this is nearly ready to send. So this is the end of phase 2 for access control for this project.